Hey everybody, this is Brother Paxton. Angie and I are here today at the Bob Evans Homestead site. This is what they call Adamsville. It was a log cabin village. The cabin we're in right now was actually lived in by a man named Ilo Hurt. He was born in 1913, passed away in 1986, and he lived here in the 1940s when he worked for Bob Evans Farms. And this is representative of the time frame of the Underground Railroad. This building is actually called Freedom Seekers, Ohio and the Underground Railroad. And it talks all about that particular thing, the Middle Passage, slavery, the abolitionists, and codes, signs, and signals, which is one thing that's always interested me. Now we have some of their items that they would have had here as they passed people through, sending them further north. We're just across the Ohio River from West Virginia right here. And then out here, that building there we just come out of would have been the old schoolhouse. And then this is the rest of what is called the village of Adamsville. This settlement originally was located on the banks of Raccoon Creek, roughly 1/2 mile east of here. Adam Rickabaugh, 1761-1836, was a veteran of the Revolutionary War. He was from, drumroll please, Virginia. And he brought his family to this valley in 1804. He had a patent for land along the creek, and it was signed by President Thomas Jefferson. Secretary of State James Madison also lended his signature to that document. Soon after his arrival here, Rickabaugh built a grist mill, which became a meeting place for this growing community. In 1805, Nehemiah Wood, one of the earliest settlers in the county, bought the mill from Rickabaugh, later adding a sawmill, a fulling mill, for cleaning and thickening wool cloth. Right over here kind of tells you the rest of the story. These are representative of what some of those buildings would be. Adamsville was never officially incorporated. It grew, it prospered here in those days, and it was divided into plots in 1846. The Adamsville Hotel, which is located along the present Farmview Road, provided an important stagecoach traveling area between Gallipolis and Chillicothe. You see, you have to remember, it wasn't until about the 1960s and 70s when all the major freeways in America were built. And before then, a lot of these same roads that were being used in the 1700s, we paved them and we used them as our highways. And the interstate system is relatively new historically. So this is what's left here. It's always been in somewhat danger of flooding down by the creek, so they moved this up here so you could get just a glimpse of what life was like. We really love this stuff. This is an Appalachian craft cabin where it gives you a little idea about how they would make things. We'll come on in. And this is how they used to, this is a loom, and it's how they used to make rugs. Many years ago, it's still done similarly the same way, but by much bigger machinery. This loom machine right here was $95. In its time when it was new, and that would have been considered fairly expensive. It tells the story of how it was all done. There's Mr. Bob Evans right on the wall, a silhouette made by Hal Stockman. Here's some other stuff that they use. There's a kind of like barrettes. There's measuring tape, buttons. There's some figurines of wood carving. Those were donated by Joe Turpak from Gallipolis, Ohio. The building would have been typical of a pioneer home. At least that's what they're telling us. So let's go on inside and take a look. You're basically in one room with an upstairs loft type area. And so these fireplaces would have been the heat. And that would have been it. They would have ate. Their beds would have been right over here. And they would have had beds as the family grew upstairs in the loft, which in this building we cannot go to. This building here was the mercantile, and that's what it represents. And again, the divider in the middle wouldn't be here, but this is where they would have sold mostly dry goods, but they would have had some fresh baked bread and different things like that, butter, eggs, sugar, flour. Here's meat grinders over here. They would have been able to grind up meat and make sausage. And they sold farm equipment, lawn seeders, post hole diggers, plows, a yoke for a plow. There's a corn cutter over there, a sickle, an apple bean stirrer. And this is one of the most handiest things that they had, was the broad axe. Because they would actually build their cabins with this, and you can see how broad it is, and that would make a finish on them square so that they could build cabins out of it. There's the bell. Way up there's the bell. This one's open, but I don't know, that one really need to walk up there. So guess where the teacher slept, maybe? I don't know, they told her she had to light a fire. It's gonna be a little glare on them. There's an old teacher's. So we hope you enjoyed this little trip through Adamsville, an early pioneer community in the great state of Ohio, located at Bob Evans Farms, and this was his homestead site as well. God bless you.